News starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We have another warm and windy day today, so let's take it over to Chris for a look at your forecast. Chris, what do you have for us?
Well, we do have a warm and at least a breezy start for us on our Thursday across the area. And again, for you folks at home, I've got a little one who is sick, so that's why I'm at home. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling great. I'd rather actually be at the studio, but I didn't say that. Well, let's take a quick look outside at what we are expecting today. Right now in Joplin, we're looking pretty good. We got some clear skies. It is breezy, as you can see there with those flags on top of City Hall. And it is still above average for all of us across the area, but we are going to be a bit cooler today than where we have been. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line also looking pretty good. And you guys know by about 6:30 or so, there will be a lot more cars on the roadway. And here's what we're talking about. Temperatures around the area. We've had a northerly breeze across parts of southeast Kansas for a while now, and so that's caused temperatures to fall back a bit more into the mid and upper 30s out there, but that's still above normal, as we should be mid upper 20s across the region. And then of course the further south and east you go, where the winds are just beginning to shift, we still have some mid upper 40s out there. Now, like I said, all of us today excuse me, will be warmer, or still warm above average, but we're going to be cooler than where we have been the last couple of days. Kids getting on the bus this morning, east breeze 5 to 10, gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. Temperatures on average low 40s, partly cloudy skies. And then, did it again. By this afternoon, though, when the bus brings them home, we are looking again at decent conditions. Calmer winds, east at 5 to 10, partly cloudy, and right around 54 degrees by this afternoon. Going through the rest of today, again, a little cooler than where we have been, but still above average, as we're going to hang out right around the mid-50s with partly cloudy skies. Clouds begin to increase, though, as we head into the evening and overnight hours, and that's ahead of some pretty big changes over the next 24 to 36 hours across the area. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes and talk about the potential for maybe a wintry mix and those much colder temperatures here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, what was supposed to be a celebration of the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory turned into tragedy. Gunshots rang out during the victory rally at Union Station, scattering fans and leading to panic. Police say one person has died and 22 other people are injured. 2 people have been arrested. And we spoke to a Kansas City resident who was inside the Union Station and shared her experience. Giovanna Klepper was in Las Vegas last week watching the Chiefs and celebrating the Super Bowl. Yesterday was supposed to be another day of celebrations for her husband, who works for the Chiefs, and all the fans. Klepper told KOAM's Fernanda Silva she lived moments of a horror movie.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you were feeling in that moment?
I thought we were gonna die, everyone, to be honest. I knew we need to find a way to get out there, but the feeling side of me was like, oh my gosh, everyone was so happy. 10 seconds ago, everyone was partying, and then it's terrifying. It's terrible.
And we'll have more on the shooting and what Klepper saw and heard later on in the show. Authorities responding to a domestic situation in McDonald County, Missouri, find 2 people dead. The initial 911 call Tuesday indicated one person in a home was holding another at gunpoint. After authorities tried unsuccessfully to contact the people inside, they entered and found 2 people dead, apparently from gunshot wounds. Authorities have not yet released their names. And if you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on app stores of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. And drivers in McDonald County, Missouri may want to seek a detour for today. From 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., MoDOT crews will install a new overhead sign across I-49 near McDonald County Route H in Pineville. That'll reduce traffic to 1 lane near mile marker 6. Southbound drivers should expect slow traffic and delays where crews are working. Kansas Humane Societies are advocating to update the wording in the Kansas Pet Animal Act. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
House Bill 2542 is proposing a change in the wording of the Kansas Pet Animal Act, which was enacted 35 years ago. The act regulates the care of licensed pet animal agencies for companion animals. The last change to the Kansas Pet Animal Act was in 2017.
We have been working with stakeholders from every part of the industry for many months to try to make sure that we've got a good bill that just updates the act and continues to make sure that we have really good pet animal health and safety here in Kansas.
Currently, the act requires facilities to have adequate care for companion animals. Kansas animal advocates are trying to add the word continuous to the act.
That's a big word change, right? So a good example of how that word change would affect shelters, rescues, and breeders for wintertime, right? So if you put out a pail of water and it freezes in 30 minutes, that dog does not have access to water.
Jasmine Cowell, along with other animal advocates, testified at the first hearing for House Bill 2542.
And it breaks our hearts, especially when you go to a site and that dog, is so dehydrated because it didn't have water, because it was in an outside kennel and the water froze. And that person is stating, well, I gave them water a few hours ago.
The bill still has a ways to go before the change is enacted. It hasn't yet passed the House and will still need to get Senate approval.
So we're still very early on in the process, and the hearing yesterday was just a good discussion with all of the stakeholders and legislators about what the agency and what the stakeholders have been discussing now for a few months.
Animal activists say this bill will help protect some furry friends like these. Reporting, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Kansas Department of Agriculture says updating wording to acts keeps them to date with industry standards. And that's a look at our morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the man who helped change the face of breakfast by inventing the Pop-Tart died over the weekend. Plus, former President Donald Trump is expected to return to a New York City courtroom this morning. We'll have the details. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. We're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Available for you, your family, your business, or your community service group. Join us and together we'll do the most good.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the man who helped change the face of breakfast by inventing the Pop-Tart died over the weekend. William Post created the first toaster pastry in the 1960s, which would later become the iconic Pop-Tarts. In later interviews, Post said he knew Pop-Tarts would be a success because his children loved them. A service for Post is scheduled for Thursday afternoon. Post was 96 years old. Harvard University turned more documents over to Congress Wednesday. The paperwork is part of the House Education and Workforce Committee's investigation into allegations of anti-Semitism. Representative Virginia Fox has accused Harvard of obstructing the investigation. University officials say they have turned over more than 3,500 pages over 10 different submissions. Fox publicly demanded a list of high-priority documents, including meeting minutes. It's not known if those have been provided. The Congresswoman from North Carolina has threatened issuing a subpoena if they are not. The Republican National Committee on Wednesday moved to end the ongoing dispute over who is the leader of the Michigan Republican Party. A panel within the RNC voted unanimously to recognize Pete Hoekstra as a Michigan chair. Hoekstra is a former ambassador to the Netherlands as well as a former congressman. Last month, former President Donald Trump threw his support behind Hoekstra. On Truth Social Wednesday night, Trump reiterated his endorsement, saying he looks forward to working with Hoekstra. And former President Donald Trump is expected to return to a New York City courtroom this morning for a hearing in the hush money case where he faces criminal charges. Also happening today, a hearing in Georgia where a judge will consider a motion to disqualify the district attorney in Trump's 2020 election interference case. Naomi Ruckham has more.
Former President Donald Trump is battling dual fronts at once today as major hearings take place in 2 of the 4 criminal cases against him across 2 different states. The GOP presidential frontrunner is taking the morning off from campaigning and is expected back in a New York City courtroom where a judge could decide whether the hush money criminal trial against him will go on next month as scheduled. Trump has pleaded not guilty to dozens of felony charges of falsification of business records filed against him last April. But at a campaign stop last night in South Carolina, the former president was more focused on re-election than the charges he's facing.
America was stronger, richer, safer, and more confident than ever when I was sitting behind that beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
On the other front, in Georgia, a Fulton County Superior Court judge will move forward with a hearing to consider disqualifying District Attorney Fani Willis from prosecuting the 2020 election interference case against Trump. The motion to dismiss stems around accusations of an improper relationship between Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. A state Senate panel is also investigating.
This is not any type of political witch hunt. This is a quest for the truth.
In addition to Georgia and New York, Trump also faces criminal charges in Florida and Washington, D.C. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
In a Washington, D.C. criminal case, a special counsel is asking the Supreme Court to let Trump's 2020 election interference case go to trial without delay, despite attempts to pause proceedings from Trump's legal team. The hearings are crucial for the former president because another delay would lessen the chance of trial before the November election. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty decent day out there. It's a bit on the cool side, but still above normal. A few clouds on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, as you can see. And as there it goes. As it zooms out, you can see still some winter weather advisories up way to our north and some showers and even snow up in parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, and those rain showers into Illinois and Indiana. As for the rest of today, we're going to look at partly cloudy skies, cooler but still above normal as we go right around the mid-50s. We've got some big changes on the horizon. We'll take a look at that in the full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
SkywayBuickGMC.com. Car crash? Call Johnson, Voorhees, and Martucci.
Any day now, staff members at an aquarium in North Carolina expect to celebrate the birth of babies born to the stingray. But there's something fishy about a mystery pregnancy with no daddy. Jeannie Moose has the paternity whodunit.
How could a stingray named Charlotte end up pregnant when no male stingray has ever been in her tank?
The $64,000 question, who's the daddy?
We think Charlotte is her own daddy.
Staff at the Aquarium and Shark Lab by Team Echo in North Carolina are so bonded with Charlotte, she lets them caress her. When they found a lump, they feared it was cancer. An ultrasound proved otherwise.
There's a baby.
Several babies, but how?
She has always been a single ray.
She needs ray tinder.
The most likely explanation? Something called parthenogenesis.
I've been calling it do-it-yourself reproduction.
Sort of a virgin birth. The female's egg becomes an embryo without fertilization. But there's another far less likely theory. 2 male sharks that were placed in the tank. This is Mo and this is Larry, named after you-know-who.
What's the matter with you? How dare you strike a mother with an infant in his arms?
The staff found bites on Charlotte, and male sharks tend to bite during mating. The aquarium plans to do DNA testing when the babies are born. The Denver Zoo recently used DNA to determine who was the daddy of this 4-month-old orangutan, and they had Maury Povich announce the results.
Barani, you are the father.
The aquarium may not yet know.
How'd that baby get here?
But if immaculate conception is the best theory...
So we're telling everyone don't drink the water from this tank?
Tell that to the diver snorkeling in it. Genemos. CNN. New York.
I'm definitely interested to see those results. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a nice day again. It'll still be above average, but a little cooler than where we have been the last few days. We're going to have another complete look at your forecast, including some big changes on the way when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Returning to site. Contact Scotty at Charlie22 to learn about impactful partnerships.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 621, now 622 on this Thursday morning here in the 4 states. We're taking a live look at our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Looking pretty good so far this morning, a bit breezy, and it will be for the first part of our morning, and those winds will calm down out there, at least briefly. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, also looking pretty good so far this morning, not doing too bad. Here's the changes we're talking about, though. So we're going to be, again, above average, but a little cooler today than where we have been the last few days, and we're going to have those partly cloudy skies. And as we head toward this time tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see a few more showers across the area, and we're going to hit early highs on Friday. And by early, we could still see them peak a little bit beyond 5 a.m., but temperatures are going to start to fall rather through the day on Friday, and that will lead to this rain making a transition over to some wintry mix and maybe even some light snow for us tomorrow. Now, the good news is, in terms of snow accumulations, all the snow accumulation data that we've been looking at isn't really showing much more than a dusting, perhaps an inch at most, but it could still lead to some slick spots. And as we head into the afternoon, the future track's showing where that snow may be, but some of that may not even be reaching the ground out there as we head later into the afternoon on Friday. The other side of the Friday story is the winds out of the north tomorrow, gusting upwards of 30, making it feel even colder. Right now in Joplin, it is 45, feels like 40, north-northwest breeze at 10. The temperatures are coming back a little bit as the northerly winds continue to spread across the region. Now, across parts of southeast Kansas has been dealing with those northerly winds, ushering in some cooler temperatures all morning. So we've got those mid-upper 30s out to the west, and still above average, but colder than some of the others. As you head further south across the area, you can see some locations still upper 40s, like Miami and Grove, for example, both sitting at 49. As we enter the day, again, we're going to have some breezy conditions through about mid-morning, and then those winds will start to let up a bit. We're partly cloudy and cooler, 44 by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head into the afternoon, again, not bad, but cooler than where we have been. Mid-50s out there. Some of us low 50s, others upper 50s, but right around the mid-50s, partly cloudy. Clouds will increase as we head through the evening and overnight hours ahead of those rain chances early tomorrow morning, and we'll drop back into the low 40s across the area. And then again, we'll hit early highs on our Friday of around, say 48s. We're talking upper 40s, and temperatures thankfully don't plummet through the day, but they will gradually fall back and will eventually make it into the 20s. So actually, average temperatures tomorrow night, but a lot colder than what we've been used to. Colder on Saturday as well, only 40, but it doesn't last long. This little cold spell is brief. Temperatures go back to spring-like levels next week. We hit the upper 50s Sunday and Monday, mid to upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday. And that is a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with a check of Health Watch.
Well, a new type of therapy is helping veterans with PTSD reduce suicidal thoughts. Researchers at Ohio State University say patients who tried crisis response planning saw a significant drop in suicidal thoughts and attempts. The treatment involves 30-minute sessions where a patient and clinician identify the patient's warning signs and try different strategies to cope with emotional distress. UC Riverside researchers have discovered a new way our lungs help protect our body from bacteria. Scientists have long thought the fluid-filled sac around the lungs exists to help protect them from damage, but they now know it also contains virus-eating cells that are released into the lungs when we get an infection, helping reduce inflammation. And 2 new studies show that women who get persistent migraines, hot flashes, and night sweats could be at greater risk of heart disease and stroke. The studies published in Menopause show that the risk is only higher for women who had those symptoms over many years. Doctors say more sleep, exercise, and eating healthy can reduce that risk. How would you feel about swapping the steak in your steak and egg sandwich for jackfruit, or a turkey sandwich made of soy? CBS's Jared Hill shows us how plant-based substitutes could soon be coming to a deli near you.
It's the typical breakfast rush at a typical New York City bodega. But look a little closer at what the cooks are serving. Not so typical after all.
Our bacon's made of kelp, our burgers are made of jackfruit and pea protein.
Neil Zacharias is the brains behind Plantega. That's Plant Bodega if you didn't catch it. The company supplies over 60 New York City bodegas with ingredients and training to make vegan versions of deli staples, expanding access.
To offer people who are already coming to bodegas to buy the existing bacon, egg, and cheese and substitute that for something that is healthier.
Plantega's growth behind deli counters in New York City comes as research shows an increase in interest in plant-based options nationwide.
I try to eat more plant-based. I just feel like it's healthier, it's clean.
Health is the driving factor.
We're getting a lot more fiber that's going to support our gut and decrease the risk of chronic diseases like the cancers, heart disease risk.
Registered dietitian Yassi Ansari recommends focusing on less processed foods like beans or tofu when cutting animal products. And watch out for sodium and sugars, sometimes added to boost the taste.
Keep it simple. Make sure that there's not a long list of ingredients of things that you can't necessarily pronounce.
While experts say cooking at home is ideal, they understand sometimes people have to grab a bite on the go.
I like the chicken, the fish. There's just so many flavors.
Plantega hopes making these options more available will encourage new customers to give plant-based foods a try. One order at a time. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Food research firm Data Central says that the number of menus offering plant-based items has increased more than 262% in the last 4 years. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Right now at 6:30, some area kids got to work on their acting chops yesterday at the Dream Theater in Joplin. And we have another warm and windy day. Chris Warner will tell us what you can expect. Plus, a historic home in Carthage, Missouri became the site of a Valentine's Day soiree.
The 4 States' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 States, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We have rain chances working into the forecast, so let's take it over to Chris Warner for what we can expect. Chris, how you doing over there?
Yeah, we do have some rain chances as we head into the morning hours tomorrow, and maybe even the possibility of a wintry mix. But there's some good news with that. At this point, doesn't look like that snow tomorrow is going to add up to much of anything other than some slick spots. This is the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. As mentioned, it's 6:30. A few more folks out on the road. You can just about set your watch by it as we get our Thursday morning underway here in the 4 States. Now, out in southeast Kansas, the winds have been out of the north for most of the overnight morning hours, so it's a little colder out there, mid-upper 30s. But as you head a little further south, still kind of mild into the upper 40s, pushing near 50. Miami Grove, for example, both at 49. But some of the other areas, say Lamar, Carthage, Joplin, Manette, were a little warmer earlier, but as those winds continue to shift around, it is making it a little colder out there. Despite that, though, we're going to be, again, above average today, but cooler than where we have been the last few days. Partly cloudy, breezy this morning as kids get on the bus, low 40s, winds gusting upwards of 25. And when that bus brings them back home, we're talking right around 54 degrees, east breeze 5 to 10, still partly cloudy. So again, it's still above average, but cooler than where we have been for the last few days. Highs today are going to average right about the mid-50s, some of us low 50s, other upper 50s with those partly cloudy skies. And then clouds will begin to increase as we go into the overnight hours tonight, heading into our Friday. And then Friday is when we're going to see some big changes in the forecast. We're going to have more details on those changes and just how long this cold blast will last here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Kids in Joplin brushed up on their acting skills. The Dream Theater troupe yesterday hosted a youth acting academy for students. Experienced instructors helped the students adapt children's literature into theatrical performances. Younger students also got individual tutoring to help foster their growth.
Students can
choose whether or not they would like to come on a Tuesday and Thursday class or on a Wednesday and Friday class. What we're doing is adapting children's literature into full-length performances. And so today in this class, what they're doing is they're taking The Boy Who Cried Wolf and they're breaking it down and then they're rebuilding it again to their taste. So it'll be a little bit different than the original story would have been because it's all their input.
The troupe will host another Youth Acting Academy in the spring. Independent Living in Joplin put on a Valentine's celebration. Those who attended had some fun and food. They were also encouraged to participate in square dancing. Staff members of Independent Living say that this is the perfect atmosphere to engage with one another and enjoy the holiday.
It's amazing. It's amazing. They probably don't get out like they should, and this just helps them to be able to celebrate holidays just like everybody else does.
Independent Living will celebrate its 30th anniversary of service in the Joplin area this year. A historic home in Carthage was the site of a Valentine's Day soiree. People were able to stop by the Phelps house, enjoy some live music, drink some wine, and even get a professional photo shoot done. All the money raised from the event will go towards renovating the landmark building.
The community is starting to realize and recognize it a little bit more since we've been hosting some more frequent activities here, and so I think they're realizing this is here and it's a venue. I'm surprised by how many local people don't even realize that it is a venue that they can rent for a very low rate, and we also give public tours by appointments.
Officials say they hope to make this event an annual fundraiser. A chapel in the far northeast corner of Oklahoma was once called the wedding capital of the world, according to its owners. Yesterday, one wedding was celebrated at Laverne's Wedding Chapel, but owner Patricia Jones says that the Valentine's Day of 1992, for example, almost 100 weddings happened there.
It was lined from here all the way to the third floor of the courthouse, and that's when you had to get a blood test, too, which took like 45 minutes.
I never gave Valentine's Day a thought, so when she said that she wanted to get married on Valentine's Day, I was all for it.
More than 100,000 people from all over the country have been married at the chapel. Jones says she is only there by appointment, but that doesn't mean that a last-minute wedding can't happen. Including the license, people can get married in less than 1 hour, spending a bit more than $100. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Video of a fight on a Southwest flight is sparking safety concerns, and it's also prompted an FAA investigation. And we have another warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
It's Tommy on a new dependable John Deere mower or compact tractor. Stop in or visit heritagetractor.com today. Exclusions apply. Offer ends March 16, 2024.
In Consumer Watch this morning, a video of a fight on a Southwest flight is sparking safety concerns. It's also prompted an FAA investigation, as Eddie Dowd reports.
It's not the first time there's been a physical altercation in the air. The FAA says in the last 10 years, it has initiated more than 1,000 enforcement actions against unruly passengers.
A brawl broke out between passengers before a flight takes off from Japan to the U.S.
Happened again. A fight breaking out between two passengers on a Southwest flight just before takeoff.
But some flight attendants tell us they're surprised it happened on a route to Kauai.
You know, that's really sad. I mean, they're coming to Hawaii. Why would they be fighting?
I've been flying 45 years, and no, it was not like this. Probably the worst thing that happened many, many years ago is a passenger maybe taking some peanuts.
The Federal Department of Transportation posted about the incident on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying, quote, Our department has zero tolerance for violent or unruly behavior aboard an aircraft. If you act out on the airplane, you can face criminal prosecution and fines of up to $37,000, end quote. But some are coming to the defense of the man who appeared to be throwing many of the punches in the video. His son telling the popular Instagram page Me in Hawaii that there was a confrontation between his parents and an alleged drunk passenger who refused requests to stop bothering his mom. H&N is working to find the passenger who was involved.
And I understand if he was defending his wife. I mean that's a human quality. But we got to be adults.
Aviation expert Peter Foreman says regardless of the situation, there is no tolerance for violence in the air.
It's just too dangerous a place to have punches being thrown. And keep in mind that there's a lot of money involved in turning an airplane around. There's tens of thousands of dollars worth of fuel, plus the airplane falls behind schedule. It's going to take maybe a day for that airplane to get back on schedule again. There's a lot of disruptions to a lot of travelers, misconnections and things. So it's a big deal.
Meantime, the FAA says it is aware of the incident and is looking into whether passengers involved will face fines or other enforcement actions. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Witnesses say the fight happened about an hour after departing from Oakland. And the tough times continue for tech workers. Cisco Systems says it's cutting 4,000 jobs globally. That's around 5% of its workforce. The internet networking company projects weakening demand for its products in the near future. The move follows recently layoffs at several other tech companies, including Microsoft and Google. Match Group, the parent company of several dating apps like Tinder and Hinge, has been hit with a class action lawsuit. In it, plaintiffs allege the platforms have intentionally addictive designs that lock users into paying for game-like features instead of helping them find a match. In a statement to Reuters, Match Group said the lawsuit is, quote, ridiculous and has zero merit. And a furry fight is budding between two major stuffed animal companies. The company behind the popular Squishmallow toys is suing Build-A-Bear. Berkshire Hathaway-owned Kelly Toys claims Build-A-Bear's new Scoosh Shirts line copies their products. Build-A-Bear has filed its own suit against Kelly Toys, claiming it is not in violation of the company's intellectual property rights. And even though in some parts of the country it hardly feels like spring, we've now entered spring's peak home buying and selling season. When home sales start ticking up in March and April, it's usually a result of people starting to make their moves now. Evan Rodriguez joins us to break down what you need to know if you're planning to be in the market this year.
The home buying season is already upon us, and experts say if you're in the market, don't wait around too long for better prices or rates.
It's always a difficult call in terms of timing. As a consumer, just be on the lookout. If a right home within the right budget shows up, maybe go for it.
Mortgage rates are down from their highs last fall, hovering around 6.6% since December, resulting in less uncertainty and improving affordability for home buyers. In fact, homeowner optimism is at its highest level since March of 2022, according to a survey by Fannie Mae.
This year, more inventory will be showing on the market. That's definitely good for consumers, seeing more choices.
If you're planning to buy this spring, experts suggest building a home buying team consisting of an agent, lender, and even a title company, because each part is crucial in what can be a complicated multi-month process.
The home buying process is not a simple decision.
Agents also advise people to search for homes knowing what their conservative monthly payment is, making it easier to move other variables like price, location, or condition of a house in order to have the best chances to buy the home. The key, experts say, is be flexible and have your financial house ready to go.
You want to show that you have the financial capacity, and getting that mortgage approved letter certainly demonstrates the financial capacity to make the move.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves another pretty decent day. We're going to be a little cooler today than where we have been the last few days, but still above average. Our camera, Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, looking great. Clear skies out there, bit of a breeze. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, also looking pretty good as folks get their Thursday underway. And temperatures around the region, again out in Kansas, the winds have been out of the north for a little bit longer, so it's a little cooler. Mid-upper 30s out there, but that's still about 10 degrees above where we should be. A little further south, still on the mild side, upper 40s. Miami, Grove, Veneta, Jay, Anderson, Bentonville, some great examples there. But remember, we saw some upper 40s in Joplin, Carthage, Lamar earlier this morning as well, and those temperatures falling a bit with that north wind. Kids getting on the bus today, we are looking at temperatures right around 41 degrees, partly cloudy. Gusty winds, though, pushing 25 miles an hour. And when that bus brings them home, the winds calm down a bit out of the east, 5 to 10, about 54 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And as we go through today, again, our highs right around the mid-50s, some of us low 50s, others upper 50s. So a bit cooler again than the last couple of days, but still above average. Got some big changes on the way in the forecast. We're taking a look at that here in just a moment. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, once again, we sent David Bagnell to a surprise city in search of a story. See how an octopus, yes, I said an octopus, played a key role in his latest adventure. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
At Roper Honda on virtually every vehicle.
Your warranty lasts forever at Roper Honda.
And it's time for birthdays. We're going to kick things off with Maddie Lance, who today turns 6 years old over in Pittsburgh. Next up, we have Kason Casey over in Columbus. It says here, happy birthday from Grandma and Grandpa Casey.
And we've got Layton High School.
Next is Layton High School, who is 14. Oh, Chris, are you there?
I am here, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Did he say Layton?
That's all
I can't
right.
hear him. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. I tell you what, Caitlin, since
all right,
since
so
you
Layton
can't hear me, we'll just have you go.
14 in Stockton, Massachusetts. It says, what a catch. Love you and your family.
Celebrating birthday number 27 over in Weir. Very happy birthday, Jared.
And then we have Megan Westhoff, who's 27 in Parsons, Kansas.
And Beth Bauer celebrating birthday number 48 with a great throwback
Next
picture
we have
there. Happy birthday, Beth.
Braden, who's 76 in Fredonia, Kansas. It says here, happy birthday from Alan and Christina Grimmett.
Leota Young celebrating birthday number 79 in Webb City with happy birthday love coming from your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids.
All right, and happy 35th anniversary from Daniel and Misty O'Brien. They're out of St. Paul, Kansas. Congrats, you two.
And our list continues with Stephen McNamara celebrating birthday number 66 in Columbus. Says happy birthday from all of your friends here at KOAM.
And happy 26th anniversary with Alan and Christina Grimmett over in Parsons, Kansas.
And of course, that was a pretty good list of birthdays and anniversaries. Caitlin, if folks want to submit them to us and celebrate with us, how do they do that?
All you got to do to submit your birthdays and anniversaries is simply write to us at birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include pictures and any fun messages that you want to include.
And of course, don't forget to reach that deadline on the bottom of your screen just to make sure that your birthday or anniversary makes it on air at the appropriate time. And in today's forecast, it's going to be another pretty decent day out there. We're a little cooler today than where we have been, but we're still above average. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, kind of doing a little reset there, but that's all right. Still showing an absolutely beautiful start to the day. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also looking pretty good as folks get their day underway across the area, but we've been talking about changes on the way, and those will start tonight into our Friday. So today, again, we're going to be a little bit cooler than where we have been, but we're still above average as we're looking to go into the mid-50s today, and we'll have partly cloudy skies. And then overnight tonight, after about 2 a.m., those clouds really increase and showers begin to increase across the area. We're going to see those showers overspread the area by about this time tomorrow, and then take a look on the future track. By about mid-morning, temperatures are going to start to fall, so we're going to hit early highs on Friday. Temperatures don't plummet, thankfully, but they do drop enough that we could see a transition for some of us to a wintry mix, maybe even some light snow. At this point, the snow track model's not showing any major accumulations. We're looking at a dusting to an inch at best, and otherwise just watch out for slick spots. And even though the future track showing snow by the afternoon, we're expecting that to not really be reaching the ground, and it'll start to clear out by end of day Friday. Quick check of temperatures: 45 in Joplin, feels like 40 now. The north-northwest breeze at about 10 miles an hour as the winds have begun to shift, and the north winds continue out in southeast Kansas, so a little cooler again, mid-upper 30s out there, a little warmer still to the south, mid-upper 40s. As we get our morning started, we're going to have some gusty winds pushing about 25 miles an hour through about mid-morning, and then that'll ease up. We're partly cloudy and mid-40s by 11 o'clock. We're going to have another look at your forecast for the rest of today and heading into the weekend, plus the news you need to know. And when we make the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., I'll tell you about a man who finds a little surprise in a toolbox that he just bought. It's a 70-year-old love letter.
Can dig up to 18 feet an hour. Imagine the kind of serious...
We are proud to salute Barbara Bevins, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities responding to a domestic situation in McDonald County, Missouri, find 2 dead people. The initial 911 call Tuesday indicated one person in a home was holding another at gunpoint. After authorities tried unsuccessfully to contact the people inside, they entered and found 2 people dead, apparently from gunshot wounds. Authorities have not yet released their names. And a historic home in Carthage, Missouri became the site of a Valentine's Day soiree. People could stop by the Phelps house, enjoy some live music, drink some wine, and even get a professional photo shoot done. All the money raised from the event will go towards renovating the landmark building. And kids in Joplin brushed up on their acting skills. The Dream Theater troupe yesterday hosted a youth acting academy for students. Experienced instructors helped the students adapt children's literature into theatrical performances. Younger students also got individual tutoring to help foster their growth. The troupe will host another youth acting academy in the spring. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, we've got ourselves that are going to be, again, above average today, but a little cooler than where we have been here lately. We'll go right around the mid-50s, some of us upper 50s, others low 50s with partly cloudy skies. Those clouds will increase as we head into the evening hours, and we'll fall back into the low 40s. And then again, we're going to hit early highs on Friday in the upper 40s. Temperatures gradually falling through the day. Some rain showers, maybe a brief wintry mix. Again, no major accumulations, but do watch out for slick spots. And we're going to fall back. It's going to be cold, but normal into the 20s Friday night and Saturday night. Below normal Saturday, though, 40. Then we start to warm back up. Spring-like temperatures return. Mid-upper 50s Sunday and Monday. Partly cloudy skies next week. Temperatures back into the upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday. Caitlin?
All right, coming up today at noon, we're making razzle-dazzle root beer pork in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll see how Barbie fever is taking over the Phoenix Art Museum. Plus, Kelly Redden and Nanda Nunelli join us in the studio to talk about the new exhibit at the Joplin Museum. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. and again today at noon.